Assalamualaikum, my name is FAHIM bin FAUZI and I will be presenting the introduction of the mini project. This section will provide an overview of the project, layout of the team's organizational chart, describe how the work was fairly distributed, provide information about the company's history, as well as describe the products and technologies the business currently offers. Briefing of the project. Hazards must be eliminated and workers must receive adequate training for there to be a safe and secure workplace. OSHA supports preserving stable and fair working conditions. It authorized occupational safety and health programs carried out by individual companies through OSHA. The purpose of this small project is to show the students how the industry has implemented occupational safety and health measures. Students' comprehension will be enhanced by conducting research about the company. Organizational chart. The group decided to pick Muhammad Syukri bin Muhammad Akmal as their leader, Muhammad Fahim as their secretary, Muhammad NAZMI, Muhammad HISYAMMUDDIN and HASIF IRSYAD as the other members. Task distribution. Muhammad NAZMI bin Abdul RASHID has been given the task of Part A. Muhammad Fahim bin FAUZI has been given the task of introduction. Muhammad HISYAMMUDDIN bin AHMAD has been given the task of Part B. HASIF IRSYAD bin HIZAM has been given the part of Part C. And Muhammad Syukri bin Muhammad Akmal has been given the Part D. Company background. Temco Switchgear Sdn Bhd is a reputable producer of medium and low voltage switchgear, including air and gas insulated switchgear up to 40.5 kilovolts and ring main unit. When Temco was first incorporated in 1966, it was successful in providing electrical switchgear and other equipment to tin mining dredges. The corporation shifted its focus to manufacturing, building, oil and gas and power utility industries as Malaysia's tin mining industry declined. Products and services. Modern technologies, processes and lifestyle call for electrical automation solutions that are compatible. Temco provides the most comprehensive selection of state-of-the-art low voltage, medium voltage goods and services for commercial, industrial, residential, maritime and agricultural uses. Temco offers two types of switchgears, which are mainly gas insulated switchgears and air insulated switchgears. Temco also provides ring main units, RMU, and prefabricated substations. These are the examples of the air insulated switchgears, as you can see here. Gas insulated switchgears and ring main units. Temco places great importance on educating and knowledge sharing with our customers and other users. Hence, Temco is promoting knowledge-based organization within and among our clients. Temco offers two types of training, which are product-related training and specialized training courses. That is all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad NAZMI bin Abdul RASHID and today I will continue the presentation with occupational safety and health facilities. So the company background of our case study related to manufacturing the switchgear and electrical voltage controller system. The goods production needs to go various kind of process, including using high risk machinery that could affect hearing or physical appearances if not properly conducted. In this section of study, the potential of hazards in the workplace is crucial due to exposure in handling complex tasks. The Factories and Machinery Acts have been established since 1967 to refer by any company related to this field, including this company studied. Next, in this slide, I want to continue with the safety and health policy that has been demonstrated by the company. It is important this organization to put on its employees' physical and psychological well-being. It is the cornerstone of the initiative undertaken to create a pleasant workplace environment. Other than that, there are a few SOP for applying safety and health policies, which is number of workers involved in the field or industry is more than 5%, which is exceed the minimum level about 100% that is working at the Tamco factory. And then there also an environmental policy in order to control human act of harmful uses material from affecting the ecosystem. So in this slide, this is the example of safety and health policy. These are the provided policy in Tamco working facilities information board to be reviewed by any related personnel, and also the policy is conducted under the FMN 1967 and OSH 1994 Act 514 requirements and fulfill the criteria need for this manufacturing industry production line. Now I will continue with the second existing facilities to prevent hazard, which is to control noise production at permissible noise exposure standardized at 85 dBA and could be maximized to 87 dBA per 8 hours of one day operation. This can be include the regulation prepared by OSHA, such as the Industry Code of Practice for Management of Occupational Noise Exposure and Hearing Conservation 2019, the Occupational Noise Exposure Standard provided by OSHA Part Number 1910.95, the OSHA Standard Specification for Accident Prevention signed in Part Number 1910.145, and the Personnel Protective Equipment PPE in Subpart 1910.132 to 138. So that is all for this chapter. So in this section, this is the example for the personal protective equipment and signage that has been illustrated by the company. So the first one is the noise warning sign, to be aware of wearing personal protective equipment and also to be aware of the noise level. And lastly, the third picture is the noise mapping mark location inside the factory building. So the second existing facilities to prevent hazard is by implementing chemical hazard information such as hazard symbol. This is an example of standard safety practice in general industry workplace that follows the OSHA standard chemical hazard communication part number 1910.1200. The regulation is made to notify the exposure of chemical hazard in workplace and prevention steps. Now in this slide, this is the example of chemical signage and hazard symbol and also prevention step that has been prepared by Temco company for their workers to be followed. And also there is the personal protective equipment for their workers review to be followed, and that's all for this. So this is the third existing facilities to prevent hazard, which is the walking or working surfaces that follow OSHA regulation part number 1910.22. The application to production line has shown notable outcomes in terms of safety and health of worker and productivity. The pathway is great for better visual for forklift to pass through and increase the rate of time used for transporting goods. Then we proceed to the next chapter, which is existing facilities to prevent hazard at standard safety conduct regulation that follow the requirement stated by OSHA to give better workplace experience. The list can be included such as the welding, cutting and brazing OSHA standard in part number 1910.251 to 255 subpart Q. This regulation consists of the need to apply safety procedure and where to conduct work tasks. The illustration shows the safety procedure to conduct welding activities by applying the correct personal protective equipment to perform tasks and prioritize safety under undesired circumstances. So this slide shows the example of personal protective equipment to be aware of when performing welding, as it have higher risk of accident. It includes tools such as safety face protection, such as welding, safety protective coat, safety glove, safety boot, and respiratory. So the company also have applied the firefighting system and health regulation, which is to be more cautious in handling any built-up fire condition from unknown sources. Moreover, the probability of fire to light up at the production line is high due to working on explosive chemical and high friction machinery. The regulation related with this field is fulfilling OSHA standard part number 1910 subpart E. The equipment includes in this hazard prevention is the fire extinguisher set, fire sprinkler set, and the fire hydrant system. In this slide, it also includes the fire evacuation plan prepared by TEMCO, which is the first one is the first illustration is how the worker can walk by to the nearest assembly point, and the second illustration is the assembly point. So this is the last part of the existing facilities to prevent hazard, which is ventilation system. It is the most important criteria to be included in any facilities. The reason of this statement is that every facility must provide a clean and clear air for workers' usage in 8 working hours per day. The company has shown the example of good ventilation system during the visit. The practice has satisfied the standard OSHA in part number 1910.94. Unfortunately, we couldn't have taken photos for evidence due to company policy. So in this part, I will tell about the maintenance program, communication tool, and safety checklist in this company. In this field study, the company TEMCO Sdn Bhd is being told that they apply the maintenance program such as the preventive maintenance for smoothness of production process. A scheduled maintenance program is an important step to neglect long-term production losses due to machine breakdown in certain circumstances. For instance, the company acknowledged us about their maintenance must be done in a required period to satisfy the operational needs outcome tools other than ensuring machine productivity. The company also prioritized the worker safety and health by maintaining equipment or tools used at good condition. For the communication tool, there are a lot of applications that can be used to achieve this section of study. More likely, the act of irresponsible people behavior at workplace cannot be controlled by others and can cause accident. A staff incident prevention program has been established in the company working regulation that includes to report an accident situation influence any personnel. This can be referred to this illustration that include a QR code to be scanned by any workers that can detect any unprofessional behavior. So lastly, the logistics department is crucial to maintain a safe environment for forklift transportation process. TEMCO has identified a problem with their forklift busway and decided to add a features that lock and protect the bottom of rack stand with a stand shield so that it can reduce vibration effect if hit by forklift. Thank you, that's all from me, and I pass to the next presenter.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad HISYAMMUDDIN bin Ahmad and I will present part B. The first hazard that exists in TEMCO Swissgear Sdn Bhd is chemical exposure hazard. Attempting to prevent exposure to harmful substances at toxic waste facilities is a key concern. Numerous chemical substances that are gases, liquids or solids are present at many of the sites. Such substances can enter the body through the respiratory system, skin, swallowing or an injection wound. A contaminant can also cause injury at the contact level and act aggressively, having a negative impact on a person's body even before they are touched. Chronic and irreversible chemical exposures are divided into two categories. Chronic exposure, side effects often appear at or soon after exposure to a toxin level that is sufficiently high. Those who are impacted when chemicals encounter one another directly. When prolonged exposure to a less impure chemical occurs, the phrase chronic exposure is employed. Example of places in TEMCO Swissgear Sdn Bhd that have chemical exposure hazard is chemical storage and chemical room. The company have provided steps to handle chemical substances and put in the chemical storage and the chemical room. the company also have a specific place to put all the scheduled waste of the chemical. The next one is mechanical hazard. Because most Malaysian businesses employ machinery to generate their product, this mechanical hazard cannot be avoided during the manufacturing process. Both throughout the manufacturing process and when using the finished product, there are several mechanical risks. This can have involved molding, soldering, assembling or cutting inventories. In Temco switchgear Sdn Bhd, there is so much process or activity like cutting, punching and welding as we can see in the figure below. All this process has its own mechanical hazard that needs to be given attention to make sure there is no accident happen. In the company Temco switchgear Sdn Bhd, the company have provided guideline for the workers to follow during working in the welding zone, as we can see in the picture. As in the punching working area, the company have provided a fence around the punching machine to make sure the workers won't get hit by the machine. The next one is electrical hazard. Temco switchgear Sdn Bhd is a company that use a lot of machine for cutting, punching, grinding and welding. Electrical hazard are therefore something that they encounter frequently. Employees who come into contact with or amputate above electrical lines, crush electrical cables or submerge electrical cables throughout the course of the production process run the risk of receiving an electric shock. The use of electronic technology on the job site could in fact put workers in risk. To lessen this risk, company will use low voltage device like ground fault interrupters and liquid tighten corrosion prevention connection cables. In contrast, electricity poses a possible risk to personnel engaged in outside tasks, particularly those who handle metal containers or other gears. To eliminate this risk, weather forecast must be followed and operation should always be halted during lightning storm. Additionally, condenser that can maintain a charge involve electrical dangers. Before managing each of these components needs to be adequately restrained. OSHA Standard 29 CFR Part 1910.137 describes clothing, footwear and protection gear for electrical dangers. As we can see in the figure below, the worker is grinding without using a proper PPE such as gloves. It is very dangerous and he will be exposed to electrical hazard if the wire of the grinder is broken. The fourth one is physiological hazard. Personal protection equipment was made for Temco switchgear Sdn Bhd employees to wear on the assembly line in order to ensure their safety. The worker may get heat stress as the result of it. For staff members who wear protective equipment, heat stress would be a serious concern. Additionally, a particular protective element that shields the body from hazardous chemical also regulates body temperature and limits the loss of water from our bodies. Therefore, wearing personal protective gear could potentially result in a risky situation. Depending on the surrounding condition and the activity being carried out, heat stress may occur quickly, at least within 15 minutes. As much as exposure to chemical, this might seriously impair the health of the workers. In its early stage, heat stress can cause symptoms like itchy skin, pain, distress, and nausea. This leads to irregular cognitive functioning which keep endangering the safety of both the individual and their co-workers. The last one is ergonomic hazard. Hazards related to ergonomic appear to be elements that can be harm the skeletal muscles nearby. This had it challenging to identify such risks since injuries brought on by the pressure from ergonomic hazard typically affect individuals that are not usually immediately visible. Authorized should carefully examine your ability to identify ergonomic risk factors and remove them from your working environment. At Temco, there are a number of ergonomic risks that can be observed, including weak attitudes, uncomfortable movement, especially if they start to become repetitive, and not even one chair being given to the employees. It is crucial to plan ahead and consider how employees interact with their workspace, because ergonomic risk can occasionally be a direct result of how a workspace is built. Excessive noise is also an issue that is addressed by OSHA Health and Safety Standards, which specifies excessive noise exposure as being at or above 8-hour time-weighted average of 95 decibels as an ergonomic hazard. There is some ways to prevent ergonomic hazards, such as rotate workers among different tasks to rest the various muscle groups of the body, reduce repetition, and ease mental demands. Improve work scheduling to minimize excessive overtime or shift work, which can cause fatigue, power tool properly, and to reduce vibration. This is the sample of hierarchy form of the Temco switchgear sendirian berhad. And this is the sample of hierarchy form of Temco switchgear sendirian berhad.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is IRSYAD. I want to continue the presentation with part C, which is procedure during emergency or injury. There are several procedures that every employer need to follow if there is emergency or injury happen at the factory. The first one is emergency response team. The second one is emergency evacuation. The third one is investigation, and the last one is reporting. For emergency response team, ERT. What is ERT? ERT is employees who have been trained to respond to the emergency that arise at work or in the community. The ERT is in charge of evaluating the situation, choosing the best course of action, and coordinating the effort of all parties involved. Fire emergency are one kind of emergency that the ERT might be called. The ERT or other staff members may be able to put out such as fire in its early stage. The second procedure is emergency evacuation. If there any fire emergency happen, it is a must for all workers in the office or at the factory to follow the established evacuation plan. Evacuation plan is made for make sure all the workers are safe and there is no injury during the emergency. There are examples of steps when the emergency happen. First, call the emergency number, which is firefighters, and turn on the fire alarm. Second one is use the fire exit to leave the building. The third one is when the situation is sufficiently safe, only trained person can use a fire extinguisher. The next is the ERT ensure that everyone leave the building and gather at the designated location, which is assembly. At Tamco, we have two, assembly point A and assembly point B. The last step is inform the authorities about dangerous situation. The next procedure is investigation. If an accident happen in the factory, an investigation must be done by a safety, health and environment department of Tamco to determine the primary cause of an accident and stop similar incident from happening in the future. The investigation must follow a several phase, including addressing any immediate risk, deciding the scope of inquiry, assessing the event, and evaluating the process. A variety of techniques may be used during the investigation, including observation, staff and witness interview, and review of any pertinent material or document. The investigator may also create a kind of accident investigation witness statement. All pertinent parties, including management, witness, maintenance, and inspection staff, should be included in the investigation. The last procedure, if there is emergency or injury happen at the factory, is reporting. If there is an accident happen, first thing to do is Tamco need to fill accident form and submit to the authorities or the Safe Health and Environment Department because it needed to be recorded. According to Malaysia Occupational Safety and Health 514, employers must notify the closest department of safety and health, which is DOS office, of any accident, hazardous situation, occupational poisoning, or occupational disease that occur at the workplace. OSHA require the employer to adhere to certain notification procedure process. According to DOS regulation, dangerous events that need to be reported to DOS include electrical short circuit, explosion, fire, and structural failure. Employees are required to notify DOS using JKKP 6, JKKP 7, JKKP 8, and JKKP 9, and JKKP 10. JKKP 6 have a fatality, serious injury. The employers must use JKKP 6 form. And for disease or poisoning, employers must fill a form which is JKKP 8. And JKKP 9 and 10 is to provide additional information regarding the case. That's all from me.
Hi, my name is Syukri, and today I will continue on the part D, which is design the OSH management system. First slide will be the daily and routine enforcement at the site. The first one will be the daily safety briefing that is done before the beginning of the work. It was estimated for 15 to 30 minutes in order to exchange information on the potential healthy and safety issues. A recent incident will be analyzed in order to get a better outcome to avoid any hazard. The second one will be the 5S practice, which is an easy method to boost productivity, visual management, and standardize the method of the labor. It consists of series, seiton, seiso, seiketsu, and shitsuke, and it can be an effective way to eliminate the wastage from the production or manufacturing. The last one will make the organized workplace to avoid any potential hazard. The third one will be the Kiken Yoshi activity, that is to forecast the hazard or dangerous activity. By doing the activity, we can get a better countermeasure or action plan in order to avoid it in the future. Here are some examples of 5S and KYA instruction on how to done the activity. Next slide will be the document. In Tamco switchgear, there is two. The first one will be the OHSAS 18001-2007, and the second one will be the ISO 14001-2015 that cover on environment policy and safety and health policy. Here are their certificates. In order to get the certificate, they must follow the flowchart. The first one will be the OSH policy, continued by planning and implementation and operation, then proceed to the checking and corrective action, followed by management review as well as continual improvement. Then safety procedure that consists of two, which is SOP and safety work procedure. This procedure is a good countermeasure to be followed by the employee in order to avoid them from getting any potential hazards while completing their tasks. Here are some examples. Proceed to the safety committee. Tamco has more than 50 employees, which means they need at least one safety committee. In the company, they must assign at least one person each management or department in order to obtain or spread information regarding to safety issues easily and effectively. Here are some responsible for safety committee and the hierarchy chart. Next, continue with the awareness and training program that consists of two, which is fire drill and first aid train. These two is both important as they can be the preparation for the employee for such as minor fire accident. For first aid also, it can be initial emergency help in order to support or less worsen the injured person. Then the last one will be the application and emergency system that consists of 6. The first one will be the PPE. PPE is a gear that should provided to the company to all employees in order to protect them while working. They are always exposed to the dangers and potential hazard. Second one will be the warning and emergency sign, that is a communication potential hazard that acting as reminder to the employees. It can be coded into the classes, classified into the specific classes according to their categories. The third one will be the escape route and assembly point. At least 2 escape routes should be implemented in the workplace, and the assembly point should be far away from the potential hazard in order there to assembly after there is any emergency that happen. The fourth one will be the machine emergency stop brake that can be manually or automatically. There will be a sensor in designated area that will detect the presence of potential hazard. The fifth one will be the report that serves as a warning of unregulated hazard. All injuries incident, including near miss, should be documented in order to be investigated and determine its countermeasure. The last one will be the whistleblower and rewards. Any wrongdoing while working, such as bribery, corruption, and fraud, should be informed to the higher authorities, such as management, in order to get the chance to identify the issue earlier and can counter the potential hazard. The whistleblower also should be rewarded, such as increment or bonus. Here's some example of list PPE, the sign color code, the assembly routes, the assembly points and escape routes, and last one will be the machine emergency stop. That's all from our team. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.